Hey guys, it's me, it's Jamesy. Thank you for joining us for another episode of Pro Cycling TV. I am joined by Brandon. He is the team manager and owner of FAVE Cycling.
Yep.
So we want to kind of delve into something a little different. We do sell road bikes here at Pro Cycling, and although the road market is quite small in Colorado Springs, it's really interesting to see what's going on in the US world of road cycling. So we brought Brandon in here. He also helps us with our Facebook and social media and YouTube videos and everything else under the sun. So thanks for joining us.
Absolutely.
All right, so tell us a little bit about FAVE Cycling. What is FAVE Cycling?
So FAVE Cycling is an elite amateur cycling team. We compete against a lot of the professional teams out there, but all the riders on the team are amateur. They all have full-time jobs, or they're students, or they're just trying to make it work somehow.
Right.
So none of the riders are paid, but the team does get a lot of support from its sponsors, equipment and whatnot. And we have some cash that we can pay for some travel and things like that. But yeah, it's still a very grassroots organization. I started it in the summer of 2017, and it launched in 2018. It was our first season. And it really just kind of turned into this, really tight-knit group of guys. Anything we could do to get ourselves to the races, we did that, and it became this brotherhood. And it's something that, for me, we turned it into this, like, okay, what can we do that's cool in cycling?
Sure.
And then we kind of built off of that.
How many guys are on the team?
So there's 9 guys on the team right now. Last year we were 7, so we added 2 to the roster. I like to keep it a small group of guys just because it's kind of a one-man show for me. I kind of have to do everything. I handle everything from like the administration type stuff to sponsorships and managing the team, directing all the riders. So and then on top of all of that, I create all the media that the team puts out.
Absolutely. So as far as the racing goes, I'm a dumb gravity dude. So I think of road riding, I think of Tour de France races such as those.
Yeah.
Are you guys doing long races like that, the CRITS? What does FAVE Cycling mainly compete in? So
this is where things have like really changed, and the team has evolved over time. Originally, we wanted to just be like kind of overall road racing. But as we spent our first season, we kind of gravitated to more of these crit races. And for the uninitiated, a crit is a short by, not like a Tour de France race, but more like an hour-long hammerfest. And the races are held around a city block, a kilometer long, tight 90-degree turns with 100 guys.
Jesus.
And it's a different style of racing than European racing. And I think that Americans have really started to figure this out, where it's like, okay, this is what's popular in the United States, and so let's kind of run with that. And there's a handful of these really big events around the country, and we're going to be focusing a lot more on that next year. There's an organization called USA CRITS, and I'd say that they're doing something different in road racing that actually I think World Tour is trying to do, in that they're trying to create a series or more of a league within cycling. And that means that there's points overall throughout the series. And that means that, there's just an overall contention. It's not just one-off races. It's, there's an overall title, there's an overall team title. They have interesting competitions within the competition, like they have a lap leader competition, like the person who just leads the most laps over the course of the series. And so like this, there's 10 events around the country that USA CRITS is part of. And all of those events, they are live streaming those events on their platform. And so people can tune in, they can watch it, they can follow the racers. And so it becomes this thing that is a little bit more engaging than just watching a one-off race. And I always talk about sports in a way that unless you can bet on something, then it's not worth watching.
I mean, there is definitely truth to that for sure.
And so, you have to have those heroes and those villains and those, people that you like to cheer for, those fan favorites, things like that. So USA CRITS is doing a thing where they have what they call their D1 teams. And these are 10 teams. There's 10 men and 10 women teams. And these are the teams that they highlight throughout the season. They do rider spotlights before the live stream and during them.
Okay.
And so it becomes this thing where it's like you get to know the racers of the series, you get to know the teams of the series, and you have something to cheer for.
Yeah, no, I totally get it.
Yeah.
It does sound like a pretty good thing. So where can you watch this? How does that come about? You said you can live stream this?
Yeah, so USA Crits live streams all of their events on usacrits.tv. And it is a paid subscription to watch all of them.
Right.
There are a few events that are outside of that paywall. So the first event that they are doing is in Birmingham, Alabama. I think it's March 17th is the date. And that's like the big preseason event.
Right.
So it doesn't count towards the overall season, but they're treating it like this big media event where they're getting all the teams together, and it's an invite only. So it's just those D1 teams.
Oh yeah.
And they're highlighting the teams, and we're all just like showcasing what we can do. We're still racing. There's still money on the line.
Yeah, sure.
But it just doesn't count towards the overall. So you can watch that one for free. They'll have other free events, but then after that, it's a subscription-based model. The cool thing about that I find really neat, because you don't see this in World Tour racing, is that the subscriptions, a portion of that goes back to the teams.
Oh, no kidding. So just for our viewership, for people in Colorado Springs or around Colorado, who are some of the riders on your team that we may know the names of?
Yeah, so I've made an effort this year, and I believe I'm going to keep it this way for the foreseeable future, is that FAVE is a Colorado-based team. In particular, it's a Colorado Springs-based team. I live here, so I'll most likely always give preference to riders that I know. Yeah. So when I started up the team, I started with the riders that I knew.
Yeah.
And that I was like, okay, I know this rider can ride well. So I started with Daniel Crespo. He's a Colorado Springs rider. Kalen Beisel.
Absolutely.
He's in Colorado Springs. Max Huddleston.
Yep.
He's also in Colorado Springs, and myself. So 4 of the 9 are based here in Colorado Springs. The others are in Boulder. Well, there's
some really good riders up in Boulder.
Yeah,
I mean, the riding up there is phenomenal.
And that's partly because in the Springs, there's just not enough of that, category 1 elite amateur road racer that, there's just not a big enough pool to draw from here.
Absolutely.
If there were, then, we might just be an all Colorado Springs team, but.
No, but I get it. Yeah, unfortunately, our roads, although the infrastructure is getting better in Colorado Springs for riding on the road, it's a shame that we have a lot of motorists that like to hit cyclists. And that's something that we see quite a bit in the shop as far as like bikes that have been totaled by a car. So as far as finding out more about FAVE Cycling, how do we, website, Instagram, give us some information.
Yeah, definitely. So part of, my passion is, the creative world, creating content, video content, photo content. And that's a big push for our team, because I feel like that gives back to our sponsors a lot more than, just racing our bikes.
Yeah, no, for sure.
If we can create something cool that people like to watch, then let's do it. So I'm big on creating vlogs. All the big races that we do, I do a vlog that goes along with it. So we're kind of following the riders, giving their input. And then we have GoPros on our bikes. And so we, kind of show what it's like inside.
Hey, that's pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So you can find all that information on YouTube, FAVE Cycling. Just type that in the search. Instagram, we're at FAVE Cycling, and Facebook, we're FAVE Cycling. So
nice.
All across the board, and we kind of spread out that content all across the board, so you can see all that stuff there.
Yeah, people can subscribe to that and get the updates and everything like that.
Absolutely.
Follow you guys along on the 2019.
Yep, totally.
So as far as FAVE Cycling goes, who are your big sponsors? What bikes are you riding? What components are you riding? What's going on?
So we are sponsored by 3 Teeth. Yeah. And 3 T is a really cool company. They're based out of Italy. And the owners of the company, or one of the co-owners of the company, is the founder of Cervelo. So most people know Cervelo,
for sure.
Brand. He eventually sold that company, and now he's a co-owner in 3T.
Wow.
So now he kind of just does cool things. And the whole concept behind the bike is, where do they see a road bike in 5 years' time? And so it was a little bit ahead of its time, because we see the industry going to that 1x standard in the next 5 years. Well, now you see more component companies coming up with 1x12 or 1x13.
1x13.
Yeah,
for sure.
And so they're starting to catch up to that concept of like, okay, yeah, 1x is really, it's a viable option on the road.
Oh, for sure.
The other cool thing about that bike is that they have clearance for 28 or 30 mil tires. Which you don't typically see on a road bike.
No, absolutely.
So actually the bike is built in such a way that it's more aerodynamic with a bigger tire in it. So once again, it's kind of going where the industry is going in 5 years, where more people are looking for more comfort and more control.
Yeah.
And so it added that extra clearance for some wider tires. So yeah, our tires, we're running Schwalbe tires, the Pro One, and we run them tubeless. And so we can run the tire pressure like 70, 75 PSI.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is low for road bikes.
Yeah, it is, yeah. So yeah, Schwalbe came on board and I was happy to have them because they offer that tubeless option where we can really drop the tire pressure.
Yeah,
yeah.
That's fantastic.
A couple other sponsors. Locally in Colorado Springs, our big sponsor is Eurocars dealership.
Absolutely.
So Eurocars pre-owned. And they've been great to us. Joe Brenner, who's the owner of that dealership, is just awesome. He's been involved in bike racing for like his whole life.
Yeah, he has.
And so
he's a big customer here at Pro Cycling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and he's always helped out the cyclists in the area in some way. He's also the general manager of Porsche of Colorado Springs.
Yep.
So, if you need a high-end Porsche, he's the man to go to.
He is. He absolutely is.
The good thing about Eurocars is that they offer something for everybody. And like I said, Joe's always just helped out the cyclists in the area in some way.
He's a pretty rad dude.
Yeah.
He's always fun.
So send him your business because, especially if you're a cyclist, that's a way to give back because, if we can send him business, then he's more willing to help out the cyclists in the area.
No, absolutely. No, for sure.
Yeah. Who else are Bell Helmets?
Yep.
They're a big sponsor of ours. So.
Which you may have seen me on that Strava challenge. The Bell helmet I was wearing is courtesy of Brandon.
Yep. Bell Helmets, Pactimo, which is a Colorado company. They handle all of our clothing. And if you hadn't seen it, we released our kit design last week, and that
that thing looks really cool.
Yeah, we're really happy with how that turned out. And who else? Honey Stinger does nutrition. Carbo Rocket does our drink mix. And I'm sure I'm forgetting some, but yeah.
Yeah, I got you.
That's kind of the list of our big sponsors there. And we're really happy with everything that we have because, like I said, we're still very grassroots. Still an amateur team trying to compete against guys that honestly, they get paid to do this.
Yeah.
And so we're just like...
Well, I think that's a really big achievement, the fact that you guys are going to be one of the top 10 teams that are getting highlighted. And especially, when you're amateurs that are very, very talented amateurs, let's be honest. I mean, you're all very strong and very good riders. But it's really cool that you're getting noticed by the big national viewership or what have you.
And we have some young kids that, this program can act as a stepping stone for them.
Yeah.
If they have dreams to get on a bigger team, this is the place for them to be because they're going to get that exposure at these races where they wouldn't get otherwise. So just being on this team gives them that exposure. They can go to the big races. They can get some support more than they would at, Yeah.
So develop them and then work with them. And then they're also around these riders like Kalen, for example, yourself, who's been through the ringer a couple times and you get to teach them lessons and stuff. Oh, that's rad. All right, guys, thanks for joining us for another episode of Pro Cycling TV. Brandon, thank you for joining us and giving us a rundown on what CRITS are and giving us another highlight on road racing. And I think that's really important. That's the thing, that there's so many different aspects of cycling that a lot of us don't know. We get fixated on whether it's downhill, enduro, road cycling, cross country. And there's so many fun aspects out there. And just looking at these videos, the idea of, I'm not fit, but if I ever got fit, the idea of riding in a crit actually is really appealing to me, just being that close with everybody, and just pinning it around corners and stuff.
Yeah.
No, it's cool. It looks like really cool discipline for sure, and I'm excited about learning more about it. And I'm definitely going to try and tag along with FAVE Cycling to at least help out in the pits or take some pictures or do something. But thank you again for joining us.
Absolutely.
Please like us, subscribe to us, all the regular stuff, and join us for another episode when we pull the time together to put it together. Yep. So thank you very much. Thanks, buddy.
All right.
All right, dude.
Let's do it.